Aliyah Boston shares crying sentiment over Bree Hall getting cut by Fever. The emotional weight of professional sports can often go unseen by fans who witness only the final scores and stat lines. But behind the scenes, the bonds formed, the journeys endured, and the heartbreaks experienced reveal a more human side of the game, one that plays out far from the buzzer. That reality hit home for WNBA star Aliyah Boston, who recently opened up about her deeply emotional reaction to her former college teammate Bree Hall being cut by the Indiana Fever. The two players had once stood side by side at the University of South Carolina, wearing garnet and black under the leadership of legendary coach Dawn Staley. Together, they were part of a culture of excellence that brought trophies, glory, and most importantly, sisterhood. When Hall entered the WNBA draft and was picked up by the Fever, there was genuine excitement among Gamecock Nation and whispers of a dream reunion. The stage seemed set for something beautiful to blossom in Indiana, until it all came crashing down. In a surprising and somewhat painful turn of events, Bree Hall was waived by the Fever during the final rounds of training camp roster cuts. The news shook fans, rattled South Carolina alumni, and hit Aliyah Boston in the heart. Boston didn't hold back her emotions as she spoke publicly about the cut, describing how the moment reduced her to tears and left her with a heavy heart. Boston, known for her composed demeanor and leadership both on and off the court, has rarely shown this level of vulnerability in public. But the decision regarding Hall's roster status hit different. It wasn't just about basketball. It was about memories, shared struggles, and the bond of former teammates trying to make their mark in a league that offers few guarantees and even fewer second chances. Boston's crying sentiment was raw, authentic, and a rare window into the emotional toll of the professional sports ecosystem. The WNBA is one of the most competitive professional leagues in the world, with only 144 roster spots available across 12 teams. The margin for error is razor-thin, and for rookies or newly drafted players like Hall, the pressure to impress immediately is intense. Hall had shown promise during her college years, particularly as a sharpshooter and a reliable wing defender, traits that typically translate well to the professional level. Yet, like many before her, she became a casualty of limited space, fierce competition, and strategic team-building choices. For Boston, watching someone she considered more than just a teammate go through that experience stirred emotions that were hard to control. In an Instagram story that has since gone viral, Boston shared a heartfelt message that read, "This hurts. I cried. Love you always, Bree." It was accompanied by a picture of the two embracing after a South Carolina victory, a reminder of better days and the kind of connection that doesn't fade with time or circumstance. That moment of open emotion resonated far beyond Indiana. Fans of the Gamecocks and the broader women's basketball community flooded social media with reactions. Many praised Boston for speaking out and showing a side of sports that often remains in the shadows. Some even called on other WNBA teams to pick up Hall, pointing out her untapped potential and how she deserved another shot. Amid the buzz, Boston's sorrow became a symbol of both how cutthroat the league can be and how deeply players care for each other. Aliyah Boston's journey from South Carolina to the WNBA was paved with accolades, but it wasn't without hardship. As a #1 draft pick in 2023, she carried the weight of expectations from day one. Still, she managed to exceed them, becoming an all-star in her rookie year and leading the Fever with poise and maturity. Her ability to balance leadership responsibilities with personal growth made her an instant locker room cornerstone. And that's perhaps why Hall's departure cut her so deeply. Bree Hall's presence in training camp had meant more than just another player fighting for a role. For Boston, it represented a piece of home, a piece of their college past that felt familiar, comforting, and inspiring. The two had shared countless hours on buses, in locker rooms, at practices, and under the bright lights of championship games. Reuniting in the WNBA, even if briefly, was something special. To see that connection severed so abruptly without the chance to flourish was like watching a dream dissolve in real time. Even in her sadness, Boston didn't allow bitterness to consume her words. She expressed pride in Hall's journey and the work she had put in. She reminded fans and followers that being waived doesn't mean the end, it could very well be a new beginning. Boston said she believes Bree has what it takes to succeed, and she hopes that another team sees her value. In many ways, Boston's message was both a farewell and a rallying cry, one that hoped to inspire belief in second chances. The WNBA's rigid roster structure has long been a point of contention among players and fans alike. While the league is growing, opportunities remain scarce for young talent. Boston herself, now more than a year into her professional career, has become an advocate for expanding the league to accommodate more players and teams. Her emotional reaction to Hall's release only underscored the need for change. If someone like Bree Hall, talented, hardworking, and full of potential, can't find a permanent spot, what does that say about the system? Aliyah, Boston's voice carries weight. She is not only a leader for the Fever but also one of the rising stars of the entire league. Her decision to publicly share her grief was not just a moment of catharsis, it was a quiet act of advocacy. She humanized the cutthroat nature of the league and brought awareness to the emotional consequences that ripple far beyond the practice courts and front office decisions. Bree Hall, for her part, handled the cut with grace and humility. She posted a short message thanking the Fever for the opportunity and expressing gratitude for the support she'd received. Though she didn't explicitly respond to Boston's message, the mutual affection between the two was clear. It reminded fans that these athletes are not just names on a roster, they are friends, sisters, and humans navigating immense pressure in a high-stakes world. In the days following Hall's release, Boston continued to share words of encouragement. She posted another story showing a clip from their college days captioned with, "Once a teammate, always a teammate. We've got your back." It sent a strong message of solidarity not just to Hall, but to every young player facing similar disappointments. Boston was saying in no uncertain terms that their worth isn't defined by roster spots or contracts. Boston's emotional stance also ignited deeper conversations within the basketball community. Media outlets began discussing the challenges rookies face, and some former players spoke up about how being waived felt like losing a part of themselves. The conversation became less about numbers and more about narratives, about what it truly means to chase a dream, face rejection,